Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you two different types of ways to do your brows. One way is a little bit more dramatic and one's more of like a softer glam. For my clients that don't wear makeup every single day, I'm not going to just go do my regular brows. I'm going to do a more soft look. I'm going to start off with the way that I do my eyebrows every day, and I do call that the wet look. I call them wet brows because they are a little bit like painted on. So that's usually like how I describe to clients, like, do you like a more dramatic look or do you like a more soft look? And then usually by the time someone sits in my chair, I get to know them and I'm asking them like, hey, do you wear makeup every day? Because obviously for the clients that they don't wear makeup every day, I'm not gonna go just put like a really dramatic eyebrow on them and completely scare them away, obviously, because that honestly used to happen to me. I used to go get my makeup done at MAC, and the only thing that I would ever have like anything negative to say was always about my brows, and it was always like so scary because I was like, I naturally have really light brows, and so to go put really dramatic brows on me was like super terrifying. So if you want to see how to get two different styled eyebrows, a more dramatic or a more soft eyebrow, then just keep watching. So if you haven't noticed in that entire intro, I do not have brows on right now. It is super weird for me, and I almost feel like I want to hyperventilate because I have like a full face on, but then I don't have brows. I would not leave the house like this. I know I'm super dramatic, but that's just how I am. I really wanted you guys to see how I look without brows and how I look with brows. So let's get into this. Okay, so to do my brows, I'm gonna grab a couple tools. I have my palette. Why do I lose my words? I already have my colors on here, but I'm still gonna show you guys how I get those on there. I use the little NC20 by MAC. It's like a studio finish concealer. That's for carving out brows. And then to carve out the brows, I would use this. It's a flat definer brush by Sigma. It's the E15. And then the pencil that I use every single day to do my brows is the 266. And if I lose this, I would pretty much die, and I'd have to leave right now to the mall to go get one, okay? It's that dramatic. This is my life right here. So first I'm gonna start off by combing my brows. I love combing brows. I don't know why, but I just do. I comb my daughters all the time. It's so funny. Okay, so anyways, so you comb your brows, and then the two colors that I'm using right now to create the more dramatic eyebrow are NYX Auburn. It's number 916, and NYX Cocoa number 807. The way I do it is I take the palette and I pop this off, and I kind of like push this down, just like when you're in school and you like are using crayons and you push like really, really hard and it makes that like extra. That's how I do it. So I go like that, and then this is what I'm gonna use to paint on my brows. So then I do that with both colors. The reason I'm mixing these two colors is because one's a little bit more red toned and one's a little bit more brown toned. I'm in the in-between right now and haven't had a chance to go to Ulta and go get a couple more. So right now I'm just making it work. And then I'm gonna take my angle brow. I'm gonna take my angle brush and I'm going to swoop on some of this color. So I'm gonna go onto both of the colors. Like I said, one's a little bit more red and one's a little bit more brown. The Auburn is the more red toned and the Cocoa is the more brown toned. And I'm just putting that right on my brush like this on both sides of the brush. So I'm gonna start off with the inner part of my eyebrow, and I'm gonna start creating that. I'm gonna take the brush and I'm gonna start creating the brow. And this is how I do it every single day, okay? So here we go. So I am following my natural line of my brow, and I'm gonna create the bottom line of my eyebrow. I am not changing anything that I'm doing, anything about my brow right now. I'm literally just following the natural part of my brow, which is how I would do it on a client as well. Now, I'm gonna put more product on, and now what I do is I make the tail. So the top of my brow should be right here, but I'm missing like one or two hairs. So I'm gonna create those hairs, okay? So I'm gonna start right here, a little bit higher than where they are. I'm gonna go right there and go down. Now, whoa. Now I'm gonna do the inside of my brow. Get a little bit more product on there. I'm just gonna make a nice straight line right where my brows start. And then I'm gonna connect the dots. So I'm putting it back on my brush, and I'm gonna go from that inner part I'm gonna droop down just a tiny bit because that's how my brows go. And then I'm gonna go up along the arch and arch up. And now I'm gonna start filling in the brows. So I'm doing swooping motions in the way that the hair grows. So right now I'm going downwards. Right here I would swoop upwards. And then right here, what I do is I get a little bit more on my brush, and I'm gonna go from side to side. And I just kind of go along all through to where I see sparse areas, and I am just filling that in. Then I'm gonna take the brush and I'm gonna brush through my brow. And there you have it, you guys. I have one brow and I already feel so much better. So we're about to move on to the other eyebrow. Again, I'm just gonna brush it one more time. And then always remember that your eyebrows are sisters, they are not twins. Don't feel too bad if they're not identical, because no two eyebrows usually are identical, just like two boobs are usually never identical. Well, mine are, just kidding. Take that out, okay? We are gonna start creating this brow. So I'm gonna get product on my brush, both colors again. So it's a nice happy medium. I'm gonna start with the inner part. I'm doing the exact same motions that I did on this brow, okay? Now, as you can tell already, this brow is a little bit different shaped, and that's okay because I can do as much as I can with the power of makeup to create this brow to make this brow look like this brow, if that makes sense. Okay, so right now we're just gonna do the inner part. Okay, you do have to kind of push down a little bit hard, so don't be afraid to do that. And if you want it to be really dramatic, you can push down even harder, okay? So now we're just following that bottom line of my natural brow, putting a little bit more product on, making that tail. And then we are gonna make the inner part. And then go from the top to connect the dots. But I need a little bit more product. And then I'm gonna start filling it in. Brushing motions and staying with the way that the brows grow. So right here I go up and then I just kind of swoop back and forth, back and forth. It just puts on the product really well that way. That's my little technique. Then right away I take that brush and I comb it through and make it a little bit more natural. Okay, and there you have it. Now I have two brows. Sometimes I'll come back and just kind of like make sure that these match really well. If you had really inset eyes or eyes that were really close together, then you can start your brows a little bit farther out to make your eyes appear farther apart. So that's always really cool. And then like right now, sometimes I like to take like a powder brush. Excuse my awkwardness. Okay, so sometimes I take a little bit of a powder brush and just kind of like brush this right here. So it's not so dramatic right here. But I know some people like their brows to be super dramatic. So it's totally up to you and what you think looks best on you. So then I'm gonna show you how to carve out your brows, okay? So some people are really into this and some are not. So if you're not, then you can just fast forward to the next look. But I'm gonna take the E15 by Sigma and I'm gonna push that into the concealer. And then I'm gonna put a little bit on my hand, just make it nice and even on the brush. And I would do this with a more dramatic look. And sometimes I do that if I say I'm wearing prescription glasses that day, then that would be a day where I'd want my brows to kind of stand out a little bit more because they're like the star of the show that day. Obviously my eyes are getting hidden, so my brows need to be bomb that day, right? So I would carve out my brows on that type of day. So I just kind of start out the same way that I would with the angle brush. I start out right here in the front, go along the arch. Does not need to be perfect at all. And then I kind of brush it off. I do have like a little pink towel right here. And then I brush that on there. And I'm gonna push down with the brush like this. And I'm pushing into the product and dispersing it basically, okay? Because it's getting moved around right now, right? It's moving from up here down. Okay, and then right here is a little bit tricky. You do want to go a little bit lower just to make it look gradient and look a little bit more natural than like, oh my gosh, I just started carving out the brows. And then I just take my finger and just kind of like mesh it well. And there you have it. You have one carved out brow. Now some people carve out like right here, some people carve out at the top. I don't. That's just not how I do it. Sometimes on clients I do it if they do like have like extra hairs or anything like that, or if they want a really dramatic brow, then I will do that for people. But I'm just showing you how I do my brows. So yeah, so this eyebrow is completely done. So now let's carve out the other brow. Again, going right into the concealer. Okay, so now my eyebrows are done. This is the way I do my brows every single day. I do not carve out my eyebrows every day. Every once in a while, I will do that. So yeah, so now I'm gonna go wipe off these brows with some makeup remover and I'll be right back. So I'm back and I have no brows, okay? So what I'm gonna do to do the softer look is I'm gonna take an eyeshadow, and you can take any eyeshadow. You usually want your brows to be about 2 shades lighter than your natural hair color. On me, I would do the medium toned brown in my hair and pull that color out. If I was doing brows on like a black haired client, I would never do black eyebrows on her unless she asked, or he, just because it's a little bit too harsh, okay? So you do want your brows to be usually about 2 shades lighter. I'm gonna go ahead with Espresso by MAC. It's really funny for me to do this today because this is how I used to do my brows before I learned how to do that little technique in makeup school. So it's kind of like weird for me to do this, but of course I do this on clients all the time. I just haven't seen it on myself in a while. So I'm using a little shorty pencil by MAC. It's the 212. It says like SE. It came in like a holiday collection. I'm just gonna put that onto the brow. Now, everything about the way I do the brow is still gonna be the exact same way. It's just gonna be using a different product. I'm still using a brush. This one is not an angle brush now though. So I'm gonna take that, tap it off because now it's an eyeshadow. And I'm gonna go in starting out with that bottom line. Already so different. Oh my gosh. As you can see, the color of this brown is a little bit different too. Now we have more of like a solid brown color, almost a little bit ashy, but I do like this color. And I especially like this color for brows. So now we're gonna do the inner line. A little bit trickier for me when I don't have an angle. So as you can see, I'm doing all the same motions as last time. And still right here, I'm gonna go in the way that the hairs naturally grow. So here I'm gonna push up and down like this and kind of like create natural looking hairs, if you will. And I'm just going along with the ways the hairs grow. So obviously right here, the hairs are going downwards, so I'm gonna go downwards. And right here, the hairs are growing upwards, so we're gonna go upwards. And then right here, I flatten the brush and I just kind of get that top part a little bit. Okay, and then when I think I'm done, I'm gonna take the brush, wipe it off a little bit, and then comb through the brow and make it as natural as I want. So right now is the time, like if I thought it was a little bit too dark, right now is when I would start brushing it off or away. So I'm good with it about right here. So now we're gonna work on the next eyebrow. pushing the brush into the product, tapping it off because it's an eyeshadow, and doing that bottom line. Okay, time for the tail. The front line. Ready with the top. So you can see how dark this brow is already compared to the other one. So that's how it looks when it's not combed out, and this is the one combed out. So again, I'm not comfortable with my brows being that dark. I think it makes me look a little bit too harsh. So that's why I'm kind of like brushing it through. And then right here, I kind of like go back and forth like this a little bit if I pressed a little bit too hard. And that's like a good way to kind of erase it, if you will. Then I'm gonna take that concealer brush and just kind of like straighten it out right here a little bit. And I'm just dabbing it. It has barely any product on it right now, but I'm just gonna dab. And that's it, you guys. That is the softer glam. Now you may be thinking like, why is it softer glam? Because the eyebrows are a little bit darker in tone, but it's just softer in the way that they are. The eyeshadow tends to look a little bit more softer than the other technique that I do. So that's why I like to offer both ways to my clients and make sure that I'm doing a look on a client that fits them. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you guys enjoyed my 2 techniques on how to do brows. Give it a like if you did like it, and comment below if you want to chat with me. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.